Hey everybody, Rachel here again with Givebutter. Thanks for joining for another success story from the Givebutter community. Today we are featuring the National Museum of Mexican Art. Recently, their Spirited Mixer fundraising event brought in over $16,000 on Givebutter to bring stories of Mexican art and culture to the people of Chicago and beyond. If you're looking for inspiration for an in-person mixer with a raffle, this one is for you. I have Thelma and Suzanne here with me to share how they made this campaign so successful, as well as, you know them, you love them, tips, tricks, and lessons learned along the way. Thank you both so much for joining and sharing your story with us.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us, Rachel.
So excited to dive in and learn more. But before we do, I would love to start by just having you both introduce yourself, your role with your organization, your mission, just kind of some of the basics for those who haven't visited or aren't familiar with what you do. So Thelma, let's start with you.
Sure. My name is Thelma Uranga. I am the Communications and Development Manager at the National Museum of Mexican Art. And so one of the roles that I play is staff liaison to the auxiliary board, which Suzanne is on. But the National Museum of Mexican Art, we are all about celebrating Mexican art and culture and making it as free and accessible as possible for all to enjoy.
I love it. And hi, everyone. My name is Suzanne Alton de Arasso, and I'm an attorney in Chicago, and I am a member of the auxiliary board for the National Museum of Mexican Art, as Thelma said. And I was also the chair of our event that we're going to be talking about today, Copitas del Sol. So it was a really great way to give back to the community, raise a lot of money for the museum, and have a lot of fun this summer.
Awesome. Thank you both so much for sharing a little bit more about who you are and what you do. So speaking of this fun event, walk us back to where it all started, because I know this was your first in-person event this year, right? So how did you go about navigating that decision? Do we do it in person? Is it virtual? Is it hybrid? When did those conversations start? What have you done an event like this before? What's sort of the background of this event?
Yeah, that's a great question. So this was our third year hosting this event.
Okay.
The first year, so basically a small committee of the auxiliary board brainstormed, from the ground up. And so we wanted to do our signature fundraisers in the fall. It's our Day of the Dead ball. It's a huge party in the evening. So we wanted to do something very different from that. So we decided, we would host a daytime event. We knew we wanted it to be agave and mezcal centered, educational, and just something fun and light where people could get to know members of the auxiliary board, enjoy the museum on the weekend, and come visit. And Suzanne was also the chair of our very first in-person event as well.
Yeah, absolutely, Rachel. And I think it's been a really interesting progression, knowing what the event was supposed to be like at our inaugural event, and then watching this event evolve during the pandemic, having to go entirely online back in 2020. And then now in 2021, just the excitement with respect to hosting the event as we had initially intended to host the event. It's still having that support from platforms such as Givebutter with respect to continuing those virtual fundraising activities.
Yeah. Wow. You guys have seen this event change really rapidly in a short period of time, haven't you?
Yeah,
flexible.
Yeah, being flexible. Oh my,
exactly.
oh man. So what were some of the frameworks, I guess, that you put around this event to make it so successful? Like I know you had a raffle piece. Were there other fundraising tactics that you use going into this event that made it so successful?
Well, I think one of the benefits to hosting these events with the auxiliary board is that, they're basically a large group of ambassadors. They're great volunteers who love the museum. And so they're all about, spreading the word, getting people excited to go to the event. And Givebutter works really well for us to get everyone on board, signed up to our team, and of course, to track everyone's donations, which is very important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And just to ditto, Rachel, what Thelma said, I think Givebutter is really instrumental when you're out there as an auxiliary board member and you're trying to fundraise money. It just makes it so much easier because I'm talking about the event, I'm hyping up the event, I'm posting on social media about the event. And it's just really easy to send people directly to that link and have them sign up, get that particular sign up credited to me. They know, oh yes, this is Suzanne's event or this is so-and-so's event. And I love it also as somebody who's fundraising because I can see exactly how many tickets are left in real time. So I can tell my people, hey, we've only got 10 tickets left for this event. You guys, you have to buy it and you have to buy right now because those are going to be gone in a day. So I just absolutely love the fact that it's virtual, it's real time. The fact that it's such an interactive platform really makes it easy for us to do our job, to hype up the event and make sure people know there aren't too many tickets left. So they need to buy soon.
Yeah. And I would also add, we doubled our food vendors this year. And so we had some of Chicago's heavy hitters in the room. So that was very exciting for our guests. We had more than 10 agave spirits on site. They were offering a combination of cocktails and neat pours. And Suzanne and the host committee did an amazing job with the raffle, which raised $2,500. And so it was 6 packages that they put together, very enticing. But I'll let Suzanne tell you more about that.
Yeah, absolutely, Rachel. So this year we contacted a number of Chicagoland businesses and had reached out to them with respect to just fun stuff to do in the summer. And we weren't entirely sure how the raffle would work just post-pandemic, knowing that, of course, there are a number of businesses who struggled, not quite sure, to what extent people would feel comfortable being a sponsor and donating to an in-person event. But we really found that there were a number of community partners who are absolutely happy to donate to this particular event, raffle items, experiences, or just swag, as it were, some really good swag. And I think that was really encouraging for us. And I would say that's encouraging, I think, for anybody who's contemplating hosting an event in the pandemic, or as we're hopefully trying to come out of the pandemic. Those efforts, I think, were really on par with respect to previous years. And that was really exciting to see because we just weren't sure how our raffle was going to go this year. But it was great. We had everything from, alcohol experiences, agave tastings, wine tastings, beer tastings. There was a really great Chicago business called Mini Dip that sells mini pools. They donated a little pool, inflatables. We had
How fun.
yeah, just you name it, all sorts of interesting swag, everything from coffee shops to bookstores. And we created some really great experience packages for our guests. And those went really fast and we sold a ton of raffle tickets. So it was just really, really wonderful to see that.
Yeah, I bet. I'm like, ooh, I wish I could have got that. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here so people can, all of you can see that are following along, because I'm sure you're wondering what this beautiful campaign looks like. So you mentioned some of the things that helped you be successful, being the power of team fundraising with your board, tickets, raffles, all that being in real time. I love that you pointed that out. And of course, you have your story section that was just so beautifully written and laid out, and your supporter feed to the right, lots of people just ready to buy their tickets and come. Was there anything else, as we are looking at your campaign page, that you're thinking this would be a helpful tip, trick, or lesson learned for other fundraisers who are thinking about doing a similar type of event?
Rachel, one feature that I like to point out that I really like in Givebutter is the fact that it's interactive when people are purchasing tickets. So I can both say something about the purchase that I'm making, and we do a lot of that. At least I like to do that during our Day of the Dead Ball, where I can just say briefly, I'm buying these tickets in honor of my grandfather, or I'm watching a friend who's purchasing tickets or just purchased tickets, and I can like the fact that they've purchased, and I can leave a cute event saying, I'm so glad that you purchased. Thank you so much for supporting the museum, and we really look forward to seeing you at our event. And I just think that's really cool. And that's not something that you typically associate with, purchasing tickets. But the fact that it allows for that additional level of interaction, I think, again, is just one more benefit of using Givebutter.
Yeah, absolutely. That live supporter feed, building that momentum, which I was sort of on the back end watching as you launched this and tickets were coming in. And it seems like you were able to just build momentum throughout the entire campaign. There wasn't really like a sticking point, at least as an observer. And kudos to you, because I think building momentum is one of the absolute hardest parts of online fundraising and getting the tickets is keeping the momentum going after launch. So how did you do that?
Well, so we kind of gave people a bit of a teaser, and to be quite honest, we had only a few vendors on board at the beginning, but we felt pretty confident that, and plus with our partnership with S.A.C.R.E.D Agave, they were really wonderful and instrumental in bringing a lot of those vendors. So we were confident that our lineup would look good, but more than anything, we were kind of telling people like, we're going to have neat pours and cocktails. We'll have local restaurants. So we were just kind of giving people a little preview of the past event and what to expect this year. We were telling them about our DJ, and, it was limited capacity. So normally I think we would have had probably double the people at an event like this. So, but we had to, limit capacity for everyone's safety and for everyone to feel good attending the event. So I think it was a number of things, and, tickets on the early end just kind of went pretty quickly. And so after that, we just kept, like Suzanne said, we kept telling people like, hey, there's only so many tickets left. You don't want to miss this event. So we sold out quite a bit in advance, and it was a wonderful surprise.
And I would just add on to that, Rachel, really funny story. As the chair of the event, I grabbed the last ticket to the event. So I almost missed my chance to attend my own event because tickets went so incredibly fast. But just to dovetail on what Thelma said, I think something else that was really helpful with respect to this campaign is that as an auxiliary board, we all knew this event was coming, and we talked about it leading up to in advance of the ticket sales. And so for us, it was already something that we were kind of teasing with respect to social media, telling our friends, letting people know, hey, we are going to have the event this year. It is going to be in person. And so when tickets did launch, people were already kind of on the lookout with respect to the invite, knew about the event, had expressed interest with respect to coming to the event. And I think that also helps contribute with respect to, it's not just sort of slow rollout, but we did have that really nice buildup as a board. And, people knew, hey, I'm going to be sending you this link. Tickets are going to come out in a couple of days. And then, boom, the rest is history. It went pretty quickly from there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, that's really helpful for people to know, is like, it's almost like you had such a big buildup that it powered through the entire campaign. Instead of thinking about building momentum as like this thing we start and then roll uphill, it's like you started so high and it just brought momentum through your campaign, and just a different perspective, and helpful to hear how you guys were building leading up to the event. And obviously it was so successful. So for those that have just been inspired and love learning more about you on this interview, where can they find you?
So for all of our most up-to-date information, you can visit www.nationalmuseumofmexicanart.org. We are National Museum of Mexican Art on Facebook, and at Explore NMMA on both Instagram and Twitter.
Beautiful. And thank you again for joining and sharing your incredible success, and congratulations on yet another successful mixer.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rachel.
And for everybody else who's following along, thank you for joining for another success story. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to Givebutter's YouTube channel so you never miss an inspiring campaign again. And we will see you next week. Until then, happy fundraising. Bye, everybody.